Alright, here's a long overdue video for unboxing and setting up Mid-America Cue Lathe. So once you get this thing out of the cardboard box, you got it crated up, plywood crates, it's all screwed in. So we're going to start with, pull these 6 screws out of the side. Remove this stretcher here. The stretcher just secures the top of this from being able to rack. Then I'll flip it over on its side because we've got some screws in the bottom that we need to access. Six more screws. Save these screws here. We got some optional rubber feet that we can put on it. Basically, pull the crate pieces off. You got to pull them straight off the end. We've got some little blocks on the side to keep it from being able to shift in the crate. At this point, flip it back over and cut the shrink wrap loose. Depending on what accessories you order, you might have a little different configuration than this, but right here you got a set of rubber feet, packing slips. This box here will contain the headstock and some accessories, quick change tool post if you ordered one, speed controller, and a motor. You slide all that off to the side. Put these saran wrap away. I'm not going to put these on right now, but if you want to, got some optional rubber feet. You can take them and use the screws that came with it, flip it over, and these rubber feet will go straight into the 6 crate holes on the bottom of the board. Some people like to bolt this directly to their bed. Some people like to have the feet. It depends on your situation. Alright, after that, I'm going to slide this out. The first step is going to be the motor and the headstock. So this is our motor. We set these up and pre-adjust them here, so really all you got to do is bolt it back together. We take a lot of this apart just to try to make shipping easier with less damage. The motor. Is going to have the headstock and all the main goodies in it. And the back's going to have collets, belt. This here, they got some more accessories. Right now we're going to go for the headstock, which is going to be this guy here. I like to do this. Get the headstock out. And I like to slide the headstock onto the bed. some Allen wrench set included in here. It comes with 3 Allen wrenches. The big one's going to be the one you use the most. This guy here, I like to take and just snug the headstock on, that way it'll hold while I'm working on it. Because the next step is to take the motor. So the motor bar is going to have 2 1032 screws in the end of it. We'll back these out. After we got those out, we'll take the motor, pull this out. This is just to protect the end of it during shipping. And what you gotta do is, you got one bolt that's your pivot point. One of them allows you to loosen it to set the tension on the belt. Like to just kind of get them in here finger tight. Now we'll take our belt. This should already be in alignment to align the belt. Basically, slip your belt on, pick your motor up. I don't put a whole lot of tension on it. I just kind of take my thumb, give it a little bit, and then tighten these 2 screws down. You don't have to kill them. The weight of the motor almost puts enough belt tension on it for what you need. So now, get rid of this guy. I like to take my motor and slide it down to more of a operable position. When I slide the motor, I like to put a little pickup on this. Keeps you from dragging the motor across the bed and tearing the bed up as much. You can feel it. If you try to push it, it's tight, but if you lift up on it, it's pretty effortless. Unless the cord gets hung up. But my main operating position, I usually stay about right here, about 12 inches or so from the end of the bed. Do it how you want. Next step, grab our speed control and get her out. Speed control is going to have a main power on, power off. Think about this like your main power switch. At night when you're not using, I always like to flip this off, but this switch does not engage the motor to run. You actually have a toggle switch on the top. It's a 3-way toggle, so if your foot control port's facing you, pull the switch towards you. The motor runs counterclockwise towards you, which is a normal operation. Center position is off. Press it back to run it in reverse away from you. You're not going to use that very often other than maybe rapid cues. And then here, got a speed control. I always like to start out slow, then turn it up as I go. But speed control, I'm not going to pull all these loose too much right now, but essentially, got a plug on our motor, plug coming from the speed control. They only go together one way. Plug the speed control in, make sure it's off. Now at that point, we can test our motor, make sure it runs. So I'm going to turn main power switch on, make sure I'm turned all the way down, flip it towards me. Now we're running. Center position off, press it away from you, going backwards. Next item on the list is going to be our foot control unit. It's basically an on and off switch, a 1/4 inch phono plug on it. So what happens with this is when you plug your foot control in and now turn the motor on, I've got nothing. So press the foot control, it's going to replicate what this switch is doing, and your speed is still going to be from the potentiometer. The foot control does not control RPM. This always controls RPM. The way it works is breaking connection. So you see I still have the speed control box on. If I pull the foot control out, I'm still going. I always recommend to turn this off before you connect the speed control, but just to give you an idea how it works. That's it. Put this guy to the side, and the next thing I like to do is we'll take our carriage assembly out. Carriage assembly. These it's all been preset calibrated from us before we ship it. Be careful when you take it out. The hand wheel is loose and will come out. Be careful when you transport it too. I've dropped mine a bunch of times like that. You notice there's a piece of cardboard in here. This cardboard's holding your brass gib from falling out. So what I like to do is just take the whole carriage, slip it on this way, and when you do, the piece of cardboard will fall out. Take your hand wheel, stick it in there. Now you're running. I've got another video that shows a whole lot about the carriage, how to adjust it, how it works, how to set up the tool post, but just a real quickie. If you just have the regular tool post, looks like this. Slide it on, slide one of your cutters into position. Like I said, you can refer to our other video on that. If you have the quick change tool post, there's an adapter you'll have to mount to the top of this, and then the quick change tool post goes on top of the adapter. Next thing, I have a tailstock. This is our modified drilling tailstock. It's got an extended handle on it. When you receive it, it'll have some protective wax over the end of the threads. You can just peel that off. Underneath these, underneath this piece of wax, there's a 60-degree dead center. We got 3/8 24 threads behind it. Basically, slide it on. Same Allen wrench. If you get tired of using the Allen wrench, we do have the quick handles. That way you've got a lever handle in here where you can lock and unlock it without having to jack around with Allen wrenches all the time. Onto the tailstock. These are the drill chuck. Threaded on the end of here. Pretty much leave this on all the time. These are the chuck key for the drill chuck. Back end, we have two different steady rests. This order came with both steady rests. We have a 25mm steady rest, and we have a 4-jaw steady rest. Four-jaw steady rest looks just like the headstock. It's got a 4-jaw chuck. Spins in here. This is the one I use all the time. Some guys like this. You can do the same with both. To me, this is more versatile. You can put it anywhere you want. You can grab anything you want with it. This one here is kind of limited as to where you can put it. I do see a lot of guys now are using this for coring. They'll put it in front and they'll make an adapter for this bearing that allows a gun drill. It'll basically stabilize the end of a long gun drill. You know, say if you're drilling with a foot long or longer drill bit through here, they use it to stabilize this end. Steady rest goes on same way. Everything just slides onto the dovetail bed. It's all made to be moved around, reconfigured depending on what you're doing at that time. My steady rest kind of lives on my lathe right here at all times. We have It's called Tommy bars. What these do is, these are basically chuck keys. You can do it with two, but as you spin it, they open and close the chuck jaws. I only use one. The way I like to do it, I'll just grab the chuck jaws. I find it easier using just one. But that opens it, that closes it. Steady rest works the same way. You're going to get a set of these. These are called live centers. We have two different ones. 60-degree live center. And we have a concave live center. Concave, 60-degree. Either one of these can be put into the tailstock depending on what you're doing. The concave is used to hold the end of a tip. The 60-degree is used typically when you're working on a butt, or if you have something that has a center hole in it that you need to trap between the two centers. From here, this is your typical setup to load a shaft. I'll grab a shaft and show you how that all fits in there. Your most common setup's probably going to be tips and ferrules. You always want to protect the wood. You never want to grab wood directly in the chuck here. So we have a few different ways of protecting it. First, we have our standard collets. Collets will slip right over and protects the wood as you grab it. One on each end. Some guys like to use leather strap or a Duraply strap. The way you do it is stick it through here, and then you'll wrap your Duraply strap around, and that's you do it. Also have this as a leather strap. Another method to protect these are going to be jaw jackets. It's something I came up with. Basically what they do is you slide them right over your jaws. They kind of act like a built-in collet. Comes with two sets. I keep a set on my steady rest all the time. I actually take and put a dab of hot glue in to hold them on. So at this point we're protected. So we want to do a shaft. So now we'll grab our Tommy bar, stick the shaft through, and I'll get this end kind of close to get it started. Leave my steady rest down to support the back end of the shaft. Go ahead and lock it down now. Kind of got to figure out your distance here. So we're locked. Oh, not locked. Locked down now. We're protected here. Now tighten down here. One thing is you want the least amount sticking out here. The more you have sticking out, the more flex you have this way. So just stick out enough to do what you need to do. I'm going to stick this tool post in just to give you a little better visual on what we're doing here. If you have the standard tool post like this, your height should be preset, but one thing that's very important is to have the center cutting point of this tool. Grab a tool. The center cutting point of this cutting tool to be dead center line of the lathe. Show how to do that in the quick change tool post setup video. I'll show you how to do it right now with a regular tool. From here, set up and ready to go. I'm not going to cut on this one, but there's a turn, always cutting towards you. top, counterclockwise if you're looking at it from the face. So this is a typical setup to do tip and ferrule work. The other configuration that you'll find yourself using this lathe in will be polishing a shaft or cleaning a shaft. And to do a shaft cleaning, I typically slide my steady rest all the way to the back, lock it back down. You can take it completely off if you want. I just find it to be kind of, I guess, aggravating taking it on and off all the time. So just leave it, and then I'll take and I'll loosen my headstock. And I'll push it all the way back. I don't want it rubbing the steady rest, but I can leave a small gap right there. Tighten it down. And now to clean a shaft, clean a butt, whatever we're going to do from here. Grab right on your joint ring. I'm going to switch to a regular collet. I typically glue these on. They're kind of falling off, so I don't want to glue them on this lathe. It's just a demo lathe, but so gives you an idea of how a collet goes. When you put a collet in, I always like to be able to see the split in between the jaws. I don't want to lock, there, of course. So you get that locked in. Kind of leave it loose at this point. I'm going to move this tool post out the way. Take it, kind of turn it right there, because now what we're going to do is we're going to use our concave live center. This guy here. Put it in the tool post. Unlock the lever so that the lever will operate. Unlock the tailstock. And lock the tailstock back down. So now we've got it centered, we've got it trapped inside of here. Alright, so now I like to go back over here and give this a pretty good lockdown, especially if you're not using a maintenance pin. I'll show you a maintenance pin in a minute. What will happen is this shaft is tapered this way, so if you put too much force on the end of it, it pushes the shaft in. Well, as the shaft goes in this way, it gets smaller, so you'll lose grip on it pretty easily if you get too much tension down here. So basically, we want to just give it enough tension to grab. And with that, so now we've got access to our whole entire shaft for a shaft cleaning, polishing, whatever we want to do. So work the whole shaft from there. Now take it out, and we'll slide our tailstock out of the way. Next option, I'm going to show you maintenance pins. So what maintenance pins are, come in a set of 5. You got a 5/16 18, so going to be your Mucci. 5/16 14 will be most steel joint cues, Sean, Joss, a lot of the old school custom cues. And we have the radial pins, will be Predator, Jacoby, 3/8 which is pretty common, and then we have a unilock. So this is a 3/8 shaft here. So the maintenance pin is going to have a male on one end, female on the other. So if you really want to clean a shaft with a better way, you can lock the pin in there. Now you don't have to worry about a collet here. And you don't have to worry about it slipping, because you can push this guy in all the way to that point. Grab it right there. And now you've got the joint collar, and you're gripping on a straight piece rather than a tapered piece, so that keeps it from being able to push in. Like I mentioned before, if you can put a little more tension on the end, which you don't want to put too much. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but you just certainly don't want to push it into the chuck if you're not using a maintenance pin. Another deal with the maintenance pin, you can, another way if you want to work on a butt of a cue, One way is certainly to put a collet or protection right here on the joint, and you can grab the cue like this, and then we can use our 60-degree center to capture the end. A lot of times you have to take the bumper out, but if you take the bumper out, this will still go in here and trap the end. Or you can use a maintenance pin, same way. This time we'll use it, the female end of it. Put her in, tighten it up. We'll swap from our concave live center to a 60-degree live center. This happens to have an Allen wrench in the back, so it grabs pretty good. I'm not going to pull the bumper out. This is going to vary depending on what kind of cue it is and whatnot. So right there, give it a little lock down so everything is secure now. And you can spin our butt if you want to polish it, if you're doing a wrap job, whatever you might want to do. Another option is if you need to do work on a butt sleeve, butt cap joint, you can do it just like you're doing tip and ferrule, because the hole through the center of this headstock will allow the whole butt to pass through. Alright, we'll get this out. And I'm going to show you one more thing. A lot of times too, I'd like to mention, I don't leave this on my lathe very often. We do sell a 4.5 inch piece of dovetail that I like. You can mount it to a wall and lock this on there whenever you're not using it. So get this out the way, slide this back down into our standard tip and ferrule type position, which like I said, that's how mine stays 99% of the time. See the way this other steady rest and these flex collets work. So it's a blue flex collet. It's a protection for this bearing. I like to slide it in this way where the flange is in between the back end of the headstock. If you prefer to use this, or if you have a basic lathe and you don't have the 4-jaw steady rest, this is designed to be able to support the back end of a cue in a turning situation. And what you do is when you push the cue in this way, it expands the back of the collet and it holds it securely. Some people prefer this over the 4-jaw. I like the 4-jaw version, but basically that's a way to spin the cue. Another thing I get asked a lot is, can you do house cues on a 4-foot lathe? And I do them all the time, or used to do them all the time. The way I prefer to do them is I offer a 35mm steady rest. It has a bigger hole in the center. I actually use this steady rest to do them on mine, and the key to it is you want the widest spread between the tailstock and the steady rest and the headstock, because a lot of these house cues are really warped, and the wider you are, the less trouble you have doing them. So I like to give myself just enough room, so I'll move this as far to the right as I can, and we'll keep this as far back this way as we can. That gives us a pretty big spread. Let me go grab a house cue and I'll show you how to load it up. With this, we'll load it up and we'll get our house cue sticking out on this end just enough to get access to the tip and or ferrule depending on what I'm doing. Lock it down. Come back over here. Lock this down. This is our Pro Series lathe, but you can do the same on both the Pro and the Basic. The main difference is the hole through the headstock. I mean, you can do the same as far as house cues, but anytime I start up a house cue, I turn the speed all the way down, and then we'll run it, and then I'll run it up as fast as I need. You'll see the more warped that they are, you'll hit a certain speed. It's almost like an out of balance tire. You'll hit a speed where it gets pretty crazy. So it's only on a really warped one. But start out slow, ramp it up. If you feel it getting squirrely, just turn the speed down a little bit. But they'll spin. And I've done hundreds of them on this exact lathe. All right, that's it for today. Hopefully this will answer a lot of questions I get about just basic procedures. I am working on a proper instruction manual. I appreciate all you guys tuning in, watching this. I appreciate all the customers, all the business and friendships I've made with this business. And if you need anything, you can reach us, cuemakersupply@gmail.com. Visit our websites, www.cuemakersupply.com. And stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. Thanks.